Hello YouTube, it's Tony. So today I will be showing you a complete guide to the Abyss for 2019. I will be showing you all combat styles as well as for a mid and high level setup. Now it's mostly geared towards main accounts. I did these tests on beta server. Obviously you have to complete the Abyss mini quests. By having 43 prayer, this can allow you to protect melee. Blood Amulet of Fury. Look, I get it, it costs you 13 mil. I mean, without that, at lower mid levels, you're probably going to struggle to camp long trips. Now, for high level players, it's definitely useful for AFKing. You're just going to combine both Amulet of Fury and the Blood Necklace Shard, and then you can create that. While this does require 80 crafting, but if you do not have that, then that's fine. Luckily, this can be assisted. It is located north of Edgeville by teleporting the Zamorak Mage. Unfortunately, it is in the level 5 wilderness. That is before you arrive to the Zamorak Mage. Anyways, when you enter the Abyss, you're going to use either the east or the west spots. I generally prefer the west spot because it gives you more XP per hour this way. There's also a safe spot for hopping worlds, in which case it's located in the southwest corner. Here is the minimap for the Abyss. Just pause the video because I will be moving on to the next section. The Abyss lore. I know what you might be thinking, a lot of you know what this Abyss lore means. However, surprisingly a lot of people fall for this. If you're offered to leave the Abyss for any sort of money, then just say no, okay? That's all it takes to avoid the lure. Let's talk about all three combat styles. Here is the melee setup, and this is for the mid levels. At the very least, you want to bring a Rune Halberd. Don't forget to bring your Blood Amulet of Fury because this way you can AFK even more. For armor, you can bring either Rune or Admit. You then want to bring an emergency bank teleport, so things like Ring of Kinship or even the Wilderness Sword 1. Super attack and super strength potions, well, they'll increase your DPS a little bit here. Finally, just fill the rest of your inventory with prayer potions and food. Now the amount you need really depends on your defense level. You can settle with less food if you're higher defense level. Here is my action bar. For prayers, you definitely want to use Protect Melee. You have no idea how much damage it saves you. For Revolution, this is what my rotation looks like. I have Hurricane on the first slot, and then I follow that up with Quake, and afterwards Cleave. For the rest of basic abilities, just fill the rest with any basics you want. Moving on, we have the strategy. No, you cannot AFK at the mid levels, so you better keep an eye on your HP. That being said, just keep using your AoE abilities. If you're under 55 attack, then you have to drink super attack potions pretty often. This is for the Hurricane ability. Now, you want to renew your aggression every 10 minutes. In order to do so, you want to run either north or east until the Abyss creatures start attacking you again. In order to bank, just use your emergency bank teleport, and then you're going to restock the supplies. Now for melee, you can only camp 15 minutes. With this melee stats, you're definitely going to struggle to survive. I highly don't suggest you train melee as the very first combat style until you get a higher defense level. Let's get into the high level melee setup. First, I have the War Spear. I mean, otherwise you can just use a Tomb Crystal Halberd if you don't have that, or if not, just use a Dragon Rider Lance. You can still use a Crystal Halberd, it's just, this is a high level setup. You don't really need a Noxious Scythe here because these Abyss creatures have pretty low HP. The armor I'm going to be using is Bandos. Otherwise, just use Dragon Power armor if you do not have that. Here is my inventory setup. I'll start with Holy Overloads, and these are pretty optional, but it will help with extra DPS. Replenishment and Restore Potions, well, they're also another optional thing to bring as well. Kinetic Cyclone. You can craft this through Invention, in which case, this is the melee cannon. It will basically add extra AoE damage. Now if you're using a Blood Amulet, then you do not need Soul Split. First, I have Meteor Strike, and then after that I have Hurricane and Quake, and the most important basic would be Cleave. Just fill the rest of your rotation with any basic abilities you want. You want to place your cannon just one square north of where I'm standing. Yeah, so you can pretty much just keep AFKing here. Don't forget that every 20 minutes you have to click your cannon. If you do not, then the cannon will degrade. Every 10 minutes you have to renew your aggression. Yeah, so pretty much you can just camp as long as you want in this case. I mean, Blood Amulet itself can keep you nearly at full HP. At the mid levels, you can get 270k XP per hour if you were to use a Rune Halberd at level 50 attack. Then at high levels, you can get all the way up to 650k XP per hour. If you're using a cannon, then this can be bumped even further to 850k XP per hour. See, using the cannon here is really amazing. I do have a 1 hour footage of this, and I will definitely leave the link in the description. Moving on, here's the range setup. You want to bring a lot of great Chinchompas. Seriously, don't even bother with the red ones. They cost you twice the amount and they hardly increase the XP per hour. For the offhand range weapon, you want to bring at least a tier 40 range weapon. For the armor, you're going to bring either blue or green dragon hide. Of course, don't forget to bring Blood Amulet Fury. The amount of food and prayer potions really depend on your defense level. Here is my action bar. You want to use Protect Melee. For my Revolution++ setup, this is what it looks like. Just follow my action bar on screen. Alright, so let's talk about the strategy. Of course, do not AFK at mid-levels. Every single time an Abyss creature dies, you just want to click a new Abyss creature, and then it will keep using abilities constantly. Yeah, so that's going to save you a lot of Chinchompas in the long run. Now personally, I'm not fully paying attention here because I want to see how many chins I would consume if I let Revolution hit the abilities automatically. I've repeated this a couple times, but don't forget that you have to renew your aggression every 10 minutes. I generally camp around maybe 30 to 40 minute trips before I have to go bank again. This is the high level setup for range. Once again, you want to use great Chinchompas. The red ones, yeah, they're just absurdly expensive, and like I said, they hardly make a difference. Don't even bother thinking about the mechanized Chinchompas here. For the offhand range weapon, I would suggest at least a tier 70. The armor I'm going to be using is Full Armadil. If you cannot afford this, then you can still use Demon Slayer. You are not going to use a cannon this time. The reason being is because the range cannon just doesn't have extra AoE damage compared to the other two cannons. If you're going to use Blood Amulet, then you do not need Soul Split. Death's Witness will go on the first slot. After that, you have Corruption Shot. Yeah, so I highly suggest you unlock Corruption Shot at level 70 range because it does have a pretty good AoE damage spread. The Codex is pretty expensive at first, but trust me, it's definitely well worth it. You can just keep AFKing here if you want. Like I said, if you're going to keep switching targets pretty often, then you are definitely going to consume a lot of Chinchompas this way. Once again, you have to renew your aggression every 10 minutes. In this case, you can camp for as long as you want because the Blood Amulet of Fury can keep you nearly at full HP. At mid levels, you can get 280k XP per hour at 45 range. You will also consume 300 Chinchompas. Then at level 70 range, as soon as you unlock Corruption Shot, you will be getting 460k range XP per hour from this. In this case, you'll be consuming 500 Chinchompas. You can get a staggering 700k XP per hour from this. Unfortunately, you'll consume 750 Chinchompas. Once again, I do have a 1 hour footage of both mid and high levels, and I will definitely leave the link in the description. Finally, we have the magic setup. You're going to use a Gothic Staff, but if you don't have that, that's fine. Alternatively, you can just use Mystic Air Staff. For armor, you can use Mystic Robes or the Split Bark Armor. Now this is where it's very important, and a lot of people don't realize this. Trust me, you do not need ancient spells here, okay? What I bring instead are earth and air runes. They're actually weak to earth spells. Finally, fill the rest with prayer potions and food. Alright, so here's my action bar. Once again, you want to protect melee. For my ability rotation, this is what I got. I like to keep Detonate on the side because it kinda helps here. Since you're not AFKing, you might as well make full use of Detonate. The way it works is you're going to press the ability so your character kneels down. Then after 3 seconds, you want to press the ability again. This in turn will deal a massive AoE damage. Once again, renew your aggression every 10 minutes. In this case, I should be able to camp 30 to 40 minute trips. High level magic setup. The best staff I would use here is Obliteration. If you don't have that, then you can otherwise use Staff of Darkness. At the very least, however, I would suggest you use a Staff of Light. You do not need a Noxious Staff. For armor, I'm going to be using a Full Subjugation. Now the runes I'm going to bring are only air runes. You don't even need ancients even though you're a high level player. The cannon you want to bring here is called an Oldak Coil. This is the magic cannon from Invention. It will add extra AoE damage. You don't need Soul Split if you're using a Blood Amulet. This is what my rotation looks like. First, you want to have Corruption Blast. You will then have Sunshine on the second slot. Third slot, Dragon Breath. Fourth, Chain. and the 5th slot will be for Tsunami. Yeah, so just fill the rest with any basic abilities you want. Just like Corruption Shot, the AoE damage spread is really amazing here. If you want to do extra DPS but you don't want to AFK, then you can still use Detonate on the side. Here is the strategy. You want to place your cannon just north of where I'm standing. Don't forget that every 20 minutes you have to click your cannon just so it won't degrade. Okay, this is the 6th time I've said this, but you have to renew your aggression every 10 minutes. You can just camp as long as you want as a high level player. Finally, here are the XP rates. For mid-level players, you can get 150k XP per hour at 45 magic, then at level 60 magic, this can be bumped to 300k XP per hour. At 70 plus magic, because you're going to unlock Corruption Blast, you will be getting 475k magic XP per hour. Unfortunately, at high levels, it's not that much higher. It's still 550k XP per hour. By using a cannon, this can be bumped to 650k XP per hour. I have a 1-hour footage of this, and I will leave the link in the description. As for ancient spells, they do add you slightly more XP per hour, but unfortunately, it's very costly. I hope more people realize this. This wraps up my complete guide to the Abyss for 2019. When you're comparing mid-level combat methods in the game, it's definitely faster than that. Those who are wondering how much charge do you consume per hour for Blood Amulet Fury, that is only at 5%. As for high levels, I think it's an okay choice to AFK. So yeah, thanks for watching and I hope it helps. If I missed anything, feel free to ask. Also, be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already because I will definitely be doing more combat guides in the future.